Hello to everybody sleeping in the van down by the lake. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, one phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hi everybody, Chris Gethard here. Not everybody likes an intro. But if you want info on the Beautiful Anonymous magazine, there's a little update about that in this week's intro. If not, don't worry about it. You want to skip about 6 minutes ahead. It'll put you right at the beginning of the phone call. Hi everybody, my name's Chris Gethard, and I'm very excited to welcome you to another episode of Beautiful Anonymous. Very lucky to be doing this. Overjoyed. We just finished our first year as an independent show, which feels really crazy to say, but I have to thank everybody who has supported us as we've kind of gone out on our own without any network, just tried to figure out what this thing is. And she will hate that I'm doing this, but I have to give very special thanks to Andrea Quinn, who is just really kills it. The caller gives her a shout out at the beginning of this episode, and I want to do the same, especially on the 1 year anniversary. It's funny. I was recording a podcast with some friends of mine the other day, and when I was sent the address, I went, that's my old studio over on Bryant Park. That's where I used to tape Beautiful Anonymous. And I went, taped a podcast with a couple friends, and who was engineering it but our old friend Jared O'Connell. And it was great to see Jared and to be able to catch up a little bit, give him a hug. And he immediately asked how the show was going. And I was like, it's good. Andrea's crushing it, and we still use all the infrastructure you set up for the show. We've changed very little about the methods because you built us a nice skeleton, and we're happy to keep doing it. And what a joy. And thanks everybody who has supported that independent year. And I'm psyched for at least a few more. And everybody who signs up at beautifulanonymous.com. I know I plug it a lot, but it really is the greatest beacon of hope for the future of this show, that so many people are on board, finding a few bucks a month to chip in to get ad-free episodes and extra time with each caller and secret phone numbers and follow-ups with past callers and all the other stuff, including the magazine. I know I mentioned last week that we had the final edition of the magazine. We are now at the stage where I have been reading out to printers, and I will say, turns out, printing a magazine is way more expensive than anybody anticipated, starting with me. And I told Andrea, I forwarded to Andrea the quote I got. I was like, this seems, well, I don't even think I really leaned into it opinion-wise. I was just like, here's the quote I got. And Andrea was like, whoa! So we're going to keep shopping around for a printer. And if we have to spend a bunch of money on it, I'll do it. That's fine. I don't love spending more money than I wanted to, but I love being a part of this community and building things for this community. Point being, I'm not bringing it up to complain about the cost. I am letting you know it might take a little while because we got some shopping around to do. And as mentioned before, if you're someone who's going, I'd like a copy of a Beautiful Anonymous magazine, that sounds pretty cool. We're going to prioritize people who have signed up at beautifulanonymous.com getting their copies. And if there's any left over, I'll figure out how to sell them off. But I'm not planning on printing too many of them. So I can't promise that there will be many left over. Point being, what a good time to sign up for beautifulanonymous.com and all that extra stuff we do, because those are going to be people who get first dibs on that sweet, sweet mag. Anyway, this week's episode, I really love it. I think you're going to love it too. One of those ones that I can say with a lot of joy, I don't know what it's about. Sometimes I can tell you, this one's about blank. This one's about Star Trek. This is about someone who was almost murdered by their own child. Sometimes these things are very clear what they are about. What is this one about? This one is about being young. It's about seeing people survive around you. It's about life transitions and jobs and figuring out who you are and living situations and all sorts of stuff. But mostly what I would say is I think the caller just has an incredibly good spirit and energy and brought that to the phones. And I think you've all heard, if you've been listening for a while, there are certain times where I just very quickly go, oh, I can just sit back. I don't care if it goes anywhere. This one's going to be good no matter where it ends up. And this caller was that to a T. And I have said, I believe publicly on the show before, I think everyone who's ever produced our show, going back to Greta Cohn, had different strengths as producers. Harry Nelson, of course, also had many weaknesses as a producer. I think Andrea's greatest superpower is Andrea, more than anyone else who's produced Beautiful Anonymous, is the best at going, I'm not sure who has a killer story, but I can tell you who has a great, great vibe, and leans into that as the starting point. And this is perfect evidence of that. Enjoy the call, everybody.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello?
Chris?
Yeah.
Hi, this is awesome. I've been hoping this day would actually come to exist one day, and here we are.
I'm so glad it's finally happening. I like your energy already.
Oh, I love that. I was hoping you would say that.
Yeah, you're coming out of the gate with good vibes.
Awesome. Speaking of good vibes, I need to give Andrea a quick shout out. I have talked to her twice now, once before today, and she answered the phone by saying, "What is on your mind today?" And it was the coolest thing that anybody has ever just like popped on a phone and said. So I just need to say she's doing great. I know you already know that, but I just had to say it out loud.
She's killing it, and I'm glad she's finally getting the credit she deserves.
She does deserve it, because I have been nervous, and hearing her calming voice, it helped.
Well, that's very sweet.
Yeah. So I don't really know 100% where this conversation will go. I've kind of been trying to call in every week for like the last year, and I told myself that the day that it happens, I'll just kind of go with the flow and see where we end up.
I love that.
But there is one funny story that I've always wanted to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So I started listening to this podcast in 2016. Was that the year that it began, or right around the time?
Yeah, that was when we launched.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so I was on a cross-country road trip with a friend, and she had kind of just started introducing me to a bunch of different podcasts, and we actually ended up listening to Beautiful Anonymous all the way from California to Texas. And funny story is, little did I know we actually had a couple pounds of weed the whole drive that I didn't know about. And that came to fruition, or to my knowledge, when we were about 2 hours outside of where we were going. And we hit a deer in the middle of the night. And we were going to call the cops. And my friend was like, "Hey, we can't do that." And she opened up the safe, and I saw what I didn't know was in there.
So there were pounds of weed.
Multiple pounds. So looking back on retrospect, I probably should have known, but I was young and dumb and going on a road trip. And I was actually picking my friend up from a farm in California. So I should have probably realized that we would be bringing some back. And I knew there was some. I just didn't realize the extent of how much.
It's funny because, you know, we are in an era of American civilization where I believe people have realized that weed is not a big deal. It's one of the things that I think of in my lifetime where you go, man, there are people who are fighting so hard to legalize it from when I was a kid, and it felt so far away. And very quickly, it became legalized in many places, and people started going, this is not a huge deal. But unknowingly crossing state borders with pounds of weed is still terrifying. We're not there yet.
Yeah. We're not there yet. And we were also coming to Texas, which really isn't there yet. But this was also, I mean, wow, I guess almost 10 years ago when this took place.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we were really, really, really not there yet then.
And how does it, do you turn to your friend and go, okay, I guess we won't be calling the police, and just move on?
Yeah. So, I mean, we were on, it was the middle of the night. We were on a 2-lane highway in Podunk, Texas, and we hit this deer, and unfortunately we did total the car. So I looked at her and I'm like, yes, there's a big deer out here. And we were still 2 hours away from our final destination. That sounds funny to say. But we were 2 hours away. And so I naturally was like, okay, we're on this, this 2-lane highway in the middle of the night. As 2 young girls, we should probably call for help. And she was like, yeah, so here's the thing. We can't. So we ended up just calling a tow truck, and the tow truck drove us the whole 2 hours home, not knowing what was in the vehicle. And we get all the way to her dad's house, and he did find out. He was totally okay with it at the time. But yeah, we had to have a tow truck driver drive us all the way back home.
Well, you got lucky on that one, and I'm glad it turned out okay.
We really got lucky, because had it gone otherwise, we could have been in big trouble. But yeah, it's just a funny story, because that trip was like the time of my life. I mean, I had never traveled like that before, and we were camping in tents in all these different places along the way and extended it, and it was so amazing. And then for it to end like that, when we were so close to home, was just kind of hilarious. And you were accompanying us the whole trip, so thanks, Chris.
Happy to be there, happy to be part of it. I can tell you my version of that story if you want.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
When I went to college many, many moons ago, I mean, this was over 20 years ago, right? I graduated college in 2002. So this was when weed was very much not legal. And a good friend of mine who I was friends with for years wound up just being one of these, in college. I feel like this is not uncommon in college towns back then, of like, somebody's got to become the weed dealer. And oftentimes it's just like a pothead who gets along with everybody. Like, it's a kid. Mm-hmm. It's not somebody who's setting out to start a criminal empire. It's somebody who smokes weed already and is social and knows people and connects people, and they become the big time weed dealer. And a friend of mine came to occupy that role during our time in New Brunswick, New Jersey together. And he was friends with members of a band who used to travel from down south, and they'd always stay at his house when they played in Jersey. And I remember one time realizing this band was just a front, that the actual touring of the band, I don't know if it was a total front. They were a band that made albums and did pretty well. But one member of the band came to my friend's house and opened up a giant hiking style knapsack and pulled out a bag of weed that was the same size and shape as the giant camping knapsack. Like, the knapsack was basically just skin over a huge, and I was like, what the fuck? Oh, this has gotten out of control. And I knew this was a true fact about my friend, but I don't know, like, it was fine. Everything seemed okay. And there was one day I was hanging out with the same friend, and he had a few frat houses that used to patronize his services. And he was like, dude, I'm going to this party at this frat house. You should come. I was like, that's not really my scene. He's like, I don't know, man. They're nice enough. Come live a little. I was like, all right, I don't have anything else to do. And we went to this frat house with a ton of weed. And I remember they had an ice luge in the basement. And I was actually like letting my guard down and and relaxing in a party environment, and all of a sudden you just heard the doors get kicked in and the police happened to show up at this party. And me and
no.
Yeah, it was bad. And I remember me and my friend like ran upstairs down the halls of this frat house that I'd obviously never been in. And I remember my buddy just kind of like kicking open a random bedroom door, and there was a guy in there making out with his girlfriend. And the guy was like, ah! And my buddy was just like, in a very charming way, but a very firm way, was like, shut the fuck up. Don't make any noise. Do not make any noise right now. Just shut the fuck up. And we just had to stay like super quiet and still as the police went through this whole house and were kicking everybody out. And that was my near brush with, I think, even in the moment, I was like, I think I would just be seeing my friend get arrested, but there's a chance I'm arrested as part of it. I'm flying too close to the sun right now. So that's my very akin to your story.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I'm sure we've all got some story close to that one, a brush with the law.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the comments section. I want to hear about your accidental times of being way too close to major drug deals, dating back to the 1990s and beyond, everybody. I want to hear. I bet everybody's got their story out there, and I can't wait to see the comments on that.
There's going to be some wild ones.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, that'll be good.
You're putting me in a good mood on a day when I have so far been in a kind of bad mood. So thank you for that.
Good. I'm glad I can help. I just got out of a week of hell, so I am rather chipper because I'm feeling better. Things are working out. I had to move houses last week because I found a scary amount of black mold in my previous house.
Ew, that stuff can kill you.
Oh, yeah. And then I got really, really sick after that. So I'm feeling better. I'm in the new house. There's no mold that I have found yet. So we're doing good today.
How did you come to be aware of the black mold problem in your old house?
So I have like really bad migraines, and I've kind of had them my whole life. But this last year or so of my life, they got like exceptionally bad. And so I actually started seeing a nutritionist because I've tried so many different things. And the medicine route is kind of the route that I'm looking to go away from. And so I started seeing a nutritionist, and she was asking me all these questions about my house. And she was like, is there any chance that, you could have black mold? And it was an old house in kind of a rougher area. And so, of course, I was like, yeah, there's a possibility, but I don't think so. And the universe, as it always does, spoke at that time. And a little piece of paint in my bathroom about a week or two after this conversation had peeled up. And I was like, what is that back there? And I peeled it back a little bit further and revealed the horror that was behind it, which was so much mold. So I kind of started chipping away at the paint, and it just revealed more and more and more. And I was like, this isn't even habitable to keep living here. But I got like an air purifier and was trying to, do all the things that I could. But I even got like a brand new cutting board for Christmas. And within a week, it was a wooden cutting board. And within a week, it had molded in my kitchen. And so then I was like, okay, I think this problem is way worse than I realized. And I contacted my landlords, and I'm like the worst Karen. I am so bad at being a Karen. And so I did my best to kind of get a little rough with them via email, and threatened to get a mold inspector out and to do all this stuff. And they were like, you know what, you can just go ahead and finish out the month and get out of there. And I was like, great. That was honestly what I was hoping y'all would say. So kind of lucked out on that.
And have the migraines got better since you stopped sleeping in the black mold house?
Well, I've only been out of it for a week. So I've made it a week without any that were too bad.
So it definitely was really messing with you.
Definitely. I mean, it was so much. Like when I realized how much it was, I don't think that there's any way it could have not been messing with me.
That's wild. That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Where I live though is a town that's like, it's not a town anymore. It's a big city and it's blowing up very rapidly. So the landlords are kind of pieces of shit. Let's be real.
Many are, it turns out.
Yeah, many are. But we've got a new place now and it's nice. So a little upgrade.
Well, that's good. And when you say we, who is we?
My boyfriend and I.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now,
it's us and our 2 dogs.
Okay, and how do you like that?
I love it. It's been great. It's an adjustment. I had never lived with a partner before. We've been living together now for 3 years, and it's going well.
That's good. That's really good. Did you live in the Black Mold house together the whole time?
Oh, we did. We sure did. And he's pretty much okay. He got pretty sick after we moved out too, but his immune system is also like an ironclad immune system. It's ridiculous.
Do you think there's any world in which you turn to each other, look at one another and go, oh, I realized that we were actually driven to mental illness due to the presence of black mold and we are not in fact in love?
Oh my gosh. I hope there's no world in which that exists.
I was just kidding. I don't know why I even thought that was an okay joke to make. It wasn't that. It was
it's okay.
never.
I
it was
love
never
dark
going to
humor,
be that.
so
It was never going to be that funny. It was never going to be that funny.
No, it was not a really funny one.
It wasn't my shining moment, but it did pop into my head, so I figured I'd just say it out loud.
It was a moldy moment.
Thank you. Nailed it. Now, before you said you're trying to get away from medicine, I want to follow up and know what you mean by that.
Okay, so with migraines specifically, pretty much they want to slap you on some medicine. They cause some other problem that slap you up with another medicine. I mean, I think that's just like Western medication or Western medicine in general right now. But I'm trying to go, like, I want to know why I have a migraine. What's causing this and why? How can I change that part? And I think it's a little bit more than just like take a pain pill, you know, like I'm really taking a look at like what I'm putting in my body and what I'm eating and the different supplements and things, and realizing that I've kind of never really learned about wellness and nutrition in my life, and that I've improve myself with just what I put into my body. I mean, I don't think that was every single thing, every illness, but I think particularly with what I'm dealing with, there's a lot more that I can do than just take a bunch of ibuprofen every day.
I can get behind that. Is this mostly migraine focused, or are you, how do you feel about vaccinations?
I mean, I'm no anti-vaxxer. I believe in them. We've seen the evidence, but I also don't think that we need to just be willy-nilly getting vaccinated with a bunch of different things. But I also don't want to be an anti-vaxxer. You know what I mean? There's a line.
Yeah, I mean, we're now living in a world where you're like on a scale of never question anything to RFK Jr., where do you land? Like, that's the sad conversation of where we're at, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And we should be questioning, but I don't want to be RFK level of questioning.
Yeah, that's a little kooky.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be clear, just on my end, I like a good vaccination. I enjoy medicine. I'm all about it. But I also haven't had a COVID booster in a couple of years. I did slow down with those, and not because I was taking any sort of stand, but I did pump the brakes on the COVID boosters like the rest of us. Even all the pro-vaccine people quietly stopped taking those boosters at some point, and none of us really talk about that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'd say I'm probably somewhere where you are. I got my COVID vaccine. I didn't entirely get all the boosters either, but I'm here for it.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So you got the new place. We're mold free. That's a great adjustment. You sound happy. You have a partner. You got a boyfriend.
And I also just got a new job. So
cool.
I was working in sales, kind of, selling my soul to the devil. And I made the best money that I've ever made in my life, but I was absolutely miserable. And I actually got an opportunity to help open up a local dog kennel. So I know you love dogs and are crazy about dogs just like me. No, but in all seriousness, I'm kind of living my dream right now, and it's awesome.
What a nice sentence to be able to say. I'm kind of living my dream right now, and it's awesome. May we all have a stretch of life where we get to say that. Got some ads, everybody. We'll be right back. We all take supplements, or at least we know we should. But why are so many supplement companies charging ridiculous prices for products that really aren't that special? It's frustrating and, frankly, unacceptable. That's why I am very excited to introduce you to Live Good, a brand that's turning the supplement industry on its head. Live Good believes that everyone deserves access to high-quality supplements without the insane markups. They offer premium products formulated by an industry-leading team of natural health experts, and they cut out the middleman to sell them at the lowest prices anywhere. I recently started using their plant-based protein powder. It's awesome. I'm going to let you in on a little secret that I learned since I went vegetarian a few years ago. The plant-based protein powder is not always great, but Live Goods is great. I look forward to it. It's like a milkshake in the morning. I really genuinely like it. So the fact that it's also good for me, fantastic bonus. They also have organic super greens, multivitamins, collagen, weight loss products, creatine, detox, hormone products, skincare products, all highest quality products at prices people can actually afford. No wonder they're the fastest growing supplement brand on the planet with over 1.5 million customers and counting. Ready to make the switch and start saving? We'll make it even easier for you. Use our link and you can save an additional 10% off your first order on top of the already lowest prices. Just go to livegood.com/beautiful to save 10% on your first order. That's livegood.com/beautiful. Don't miss out on this opportunity to invest in your health without overspending. It's the new year, and everybody knows that after the new year, a lot of people need to recommit to eating healthy, from Thanksgiving through the holiday season in December. A lot of things sort of get out of control as far as habits we're developing and whatnot. Thrive Market is here to help, and I got to tell you, this is one of the easiest ads I've ever been privileged enough to do because my family has been using Thrive Market for at least 4 or 5 years now, way before they ever advertised on the show, which was a complete coincidence. When they reached out, I was like, absolutely, Thrive Market has been a presence in my house for years. I would love to speak about them. It's a crazy statistic. Over 10,000 chemicals have entered our U.S. food supply, yet the EU limits that to just 300 additives. I got to say, on my end, I don't love sifting through ingredient labels. It takes a lot of time. Googling every individual chemically sounding ingredient to just know what's in my food. It's a big part of why I love using Thrive Market. Thrive makes it so easy to find better options. They remove all the hassle. One of the things they do to make it so easy is they have a healthy swaps scanner in the Thrive Market app, which is so simple. You can scan any item and it will instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier alternative to it. So, for example, Cal's a little kid. He likes candy, right? Sugary snacks. You scan them, and all of a sudden, it's giving us suggestions on versions of it that Thrive sells that have far less chemicals. All the lesser evil products I've become obsessed with over the years. And the best part is that everything gets delivered right to your door. And you get savings on every order. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding safe, healthy food. All their products are 100% non-GMO and free from over 1,000 harmful ingredients. And their on-site filters make shopping even easier. Whether you're looking for dye-free snacks, non-toxic cleaning, or high-protein meals that fit your dietary preferences, Thrive has you covered. I will tell you, we order so much stuff from Thrive. Not just food items. I mean, we order snacks, frozen meals. We order all sorts of canned goods. We order our garbage bags through Thrive. We order all sorts of stuff around the house. And Thrive Market also has their Smart Cart feature, which takes the stress out of replacing junk food. When you create an account, Thrive asks the right questions and automatically builds a grocery cart tailored to your needs, filled with healthier alternatives to your favorite brands. From there, you can adjust, add, or remove items before checking out. Ready for a junk-free start to 2025? Head to thrivemarket.com/beautiful stories and get 30% off your first order, plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/beautiful stories. Thrivemarket.com/beautiful stories. I'll tell you something. I was pretty stressed out for major portions of 2024. Anybody else out there feel some stress at points in 2024? Guess what? Stress can have an effect, not just emotionally, but physically, on your skin, your hair. This new year, skip the resolutions, go straight to results with custom beauty formulas from Prose. It's 2025. You deserve better. Prose makes beauty personal with truly custom hair care and skincare formulas that couldn't exist without you. Each and every bottle is made to order based on an in-depth consultation that covers everything from your beauty goals to the weather and water where you live. I did this. It was surprisingly fun to answer a bunch of questions and then read the formula that they recommended for me. And I've been washing my face with Prose products for a few weeks now. And I have to tell you, I look better. I just look in the mirror, my skin looks better. It's no joke. From millions of possible formulas, only one is uniquely yours. And Prose only uses naturally powerful and proven effective ingredients, selecting from over 185 clean ingredients to target your specific concerns and goals. See your healthiest hair in just 4 weeks, backed by more than 500,000 five-star product reviews and a clinical study that proves personalization works better. And with the Prose Promise, if you don't love your first order, it's on Prose. So there's never been a better time to switch to custom. Prose is so confident that you'll love your results this year that they're offering an exclusive trial offer, 50% off your first hair care subscription order at prose.com/beautiful. That's PROSE.com/beautiful for your free consultation and 50% off your custom routine. Prose.com/beautiful. Thanks to all our advertisers. Now let's get back to the phone call.
I'm kind of living my dream right now, and it's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's rad because I was to the point where I was miserable with my normal job and was just like searching for anything. And I had someone reach out to me, and the way that they reached out was literally saying, "Are you happy at your current job?" And I was like, "No, what you got?" And
yeah. I love hearing that works for them sometimes. That you're just like, no, what else? Give me any other option.
Give me something. Yeah, because what I got isn't not working.
And did the person just go, "You want to open a dog kennel?" And you were like, "Okay." That simple?
Yeah. So
really?
Yeah, it was pretty much that simple. So it was someone that I had worked with for years. I had worked at dog kennels all throughout like high school and college. And it was a girl that I had been working with who reached out to me, and her parents' neighbor or something has a bunch of money, and she's one of those people that has a bunch of money, but is like, you wouldn't know when you meet her. And she wanted to, quote unquote, give back. And her part of giving back was building this like brand new facility for dogs, but she had no idea how to run the dog side of things. So she needed dog people, and found me and my friend. So it kind of worked out exactly how I could have dreamed it to, because I don't have the money to build my own kennel, but I've always wanted to. So now I just get to help start it and run it and be at the forefront of all of the like planning and all of that. But I'm not shelling out millions of dollars that I don't have.
That's amazing.
So it's going well. Yeah.
That never
really
happens.
Awesome.
That rarely happens.
No, it never happens.
When a rich person from your past offers to fund a business based on your interests that you had demonstrated no motivation to begin on your own, that never happens.
Yeah. So it feels like kind of like a fever dream, except it's reality and it's my life now. So that's awesome.
And how do you deal with dogs who are very, very naughty, asking theoretically for no reason?
I bribe them with treats.
And what if they eat the treats and their behavior never changes?
You got to be consistent, Chris.
I'm, again, asking just theoretically for no specific reason.
Okay, yes. Theoretically, for no specific reason, it just takes time and consistency.
At the end, what if, theoretically, for no reason, maybe you moved into a new house as you recently did, and the old owner happened to have an invisible fence set up. So you have an invisible fence. And you call them and they come and train your dog, and they say usually it takes 3 times, and they're now scheduling the 5th time because your dog can't figure any fucking thing out. Theoretically. How do you deal with that?
Okay, wait. What can't they figure out? Is your dog or theoretically, is the theoretical dog running through the fence and getting shocked?
Theoretically, I've been told that maybe the dog, this theoretical dog, is a bad combination of smart and strong, and is defeating the invisible fence. Like smart enough to understand what it is, but then also figures out if he can jump high enough, he can just coast over it. And he's strong enough to maybe power through a shock or two.
Oh my gosh, this is so funny.
Theoretically speaking. We don't talk about my dog on the free feed. That's only for the paywall people.
Exactly.
But
this
theoretically, what if you spent a bunch of money getting the invisible fence repaired? Because it was already there anyway, but they did need to repair it. And the dog has somehow defeated technology. Theoretically.
Well, this is a little late, but theoretically, I think you possibly got too smart and strong of a dog.
Is this fence not going to work? Are there dogs where the invisible fence just doesn't work? Oh, that's
I had one growing up that did the same thing and would power through it if there was something that they really wanted on the other side.
Jesus.
But he did stop eventually. So there's hope for this theoretical situation to get better.
Theoretically.
Yes.
Very cute pain in my theoretical ass. Anyway, that's so cool. And you mentioned that the sales job was paying you a lot of cash, but it was draining your soul. Are you feeling good? I would imagine that a sales job where it's like self-starter, motivated stuff, money pouring in, running a dog kennel, do you feel stable? But I can't imagine that it's like the same financial thrills of sales.
Yeah, definitely not the same. I think my biggest issue, which you will totally understand, was losing health insurance.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, so that's scary. I'm in the works of trying to figure out how to get that before everything changes. Assuming that everything is about to, get a lot harder with health insurance. So hopefully I can figure out an affordable way to get some and then be, okay on that front. But I mean, the pay gap itself, I'm finding ways to feel like the job itself is so fulfilling. Like I come home with dirt under my fingernails and I'm tired and I've walked 20, 30,000 steps in a day and I'm not just trying to sell people stuff. So the lack of income makes up for how I'm actually being fulfilled with my days.
Yeah, I love that.
I know that's cheesy, but
I love it, and we don't talk about it enough. I love it, and we don't talk about it enough.
Yeah, and I'm young, and I couldn't envision myself I was only in sales for 5 years. I'm just shy of 30, so I've got a lot of life left in me to live. And I was waking up every day how do people do this? like, yeah, I'm making good money, but like, I hate the life that I'm living. And I was ruining relationships with my family and my partner and everybody because I would just come home pissed off all the time. And like, that's not cool. And just to do that for the rest of my life to pay my bills, that seemed really horrible. So I'm glad I figured it out pretty quickly and that it worked out in the way that it did, because this, like I said, it's kind of my dream that I'm living right now. And it's unreal that it just fell into my lap like this.
I love everything you were just saying right there. That there, first of all, you mentioned that you're young. How old are you?
I'm 27.
Perfect. Fantastic age, by the way. Incredible age.
Yeah.
Great times. And you are young enough to still dig in your heels and fight the good fight and carve out a space for yourself that is based on fulfillment. And we do have this very American attitude that if you ever make less in a year than you made the year prior, that you are in some way failing or moving backwards. And I do think we need to start having some very, very serious conversations about other metrics that define our quality of life besides a financial rat race. And I'm glad to hear that. And I'm also glad to hear, and let's be clear, that it's not a pie in the sky thing. And it's not based on fantasy, that you are very clearly saying, no, I was on this track where the money was good, but it was making me snap at people. It was making me exhausted. It was making me not the best version of myself around people I love. And now I'm making less money, but I am a better version of me. And you're young enough to put a lot of energy into this new business and venture and see if you can help turn it into something that lasts theoretically forever. I love that. I love it. And I think those are the conversations we all need to be having with ourselves. And for some of us who are older and locked into what we've got or locked into the mentality that we grew up with, we do have to support young people, because this rat race thing is breaking people. It's breaking people's wills and spirits, and we gotta find some other ways.
It really is. Yeah. And my parents, they can be slightly traditional. They've actually grown a lot over the past couple years. I mean, my parents voted for Trump in the first race, like very conservative backgrounds. And ever since, like, they have become so progressive, so open-minded, so like down with like, just like they completely did a 180. And like, I was nervous to kind of talk to them about this because I did finally have that quote unquote big girl career they were telling me to get forever, and that they were so proud of me for getting. And then I'm like going back to doing the job that I did all throughout high school and college. So I was a little nervous to tell them, but I mean, they were the ones who were like, it is so nice to talk to you now because your voice is happy again. Like, you just sound good. And I'll send them pictures of me like being like, oh, I drove this tractor to go dig all these rocks out of this riverbed and build a little entryway. What do you think? And they're just like so stoked now. And it's really cool to see that.
Yeah. And it's good to hear you get that support and that validation. A lot of parents
definitely
would turn around and go, hey, so my income's been cut by whatever percent. And they just turn around and go, what? Because stability is so important. But
yeah, so I'm thankful that they've grown over the years too, to understand, you know, that maybe happiness is more important than how much money we're bringing in every month.
I think there's a lot of truth to it. And I think there's also ways to achieve both and tracks to get there. But hey, graduate college, get out in the workforce and work yourself to the point of exhaustion. That can't be it anymore. That can't be it anymore.
No.
That can't be.
No, and the thing that stresses me out most these days anyways is my student loans for my very expensive degree that I'm clearly using.
What did you get a degree in?
It was just communication, but I went to a private liberal arts school, so it wasn't super easy on the bank, but I was a poor, smart kid, and that did me great. I got a lot of scholarships to go there, so it wasn't as much as it would have been.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's your feelings about the college experience now that you're a few years beyond graduation?
Okay, so I have mixed feelings. If we take money out of this conversation, loved it. Love college. I am such a nerd and I went to like I said, it was a really, really small liberal arts school. So I ate that shit up. I loved going to class and learning and writing papers and all of that. But now, like, let's put money back into the conversation. My student loans are like $300-400-ish a month. And I feel like I'm so much further behind in my life currently than my friends who didn't go to college. Like, you know, some of my friends who didn't go to college have these great jobs and make great money and have bought houses and done all of these things. And I'm like, that's not anywhere in my near future. And plus I'll be paying student loans till I die. So I wouldn't recommend it. No.
You wouldn't recommend college in general right now?
I don't think so.
Damn.
I mean, like, for the experience, if you can afford it and you want an experience, yeah, but I don't think that I would recommend it to just like the average American. No.
Yeah, man. Young people, we got to listen to young people because this is no longer a fad, and it's no longer, it's not like a meme. You listen to a lot of young people and they turn around and go, oh, I'm drowning. College got me very little as far as getting interviews and getting jobs, and I'm drowning in debt, and I'm pissed that I went. You're hearing that more and more.
Yeah.
Something is going to
and
break.
It's like, it's got to. I mean, like, whenever I first got out of college, it was like, oh, you're too overqualified, or I didn't have enough experience. And so I was, also, let's not forget to mention, I graduated 2019. So, like, I got a job, and then within the next year, lost that job and was, like, the COVID graduate, basically. So it was really weird for people that graduated right around the time that I did.
Yeah, I bet you, yeah. That exact graduation year, I think, is probably particularly pissed at how not only do you have these loans, but you get frozen in place for 3 years where you can't really get out there and get your life started, and all you can do is sort of sit home and think about the loans.
Exactly. I mean, they were paused. It was cool. I didn't have to pay them at that time, but they did get unpaused. So got to think about them now.
Yeah. Yeah. Looming over your head. Do you still drive around and go camping in random places?
I do. Yeah. So I actually have a van. This is one of the cool things that happened during COVID. My boyfriend and I were stockpiling our checks, and we went and bought a van. So it's nothing nice. It's a 1996 Chevy D20. It's kind of a beautiful clunk of metal. She's green. Green is my favorite color. And we take that around all the time. We haven't gone on like a big trip yet, or in a while. Our biggest one was 6 weeks long, and we went out west. And it was the best 6 weeks of my life. But yeah, we'll take her out for a spin every now and then when we've got time, kind of when our schedules, align and allow it.
I love that. And I've dreamed of, this van, you got a bed in the back, you got to convert it at all? Or is the van just more?
Oh,
yeah. Talk to me
not
about
really
this.
Converted. It's like a seat that turns into a bed. I would say maybe the size of like a twin-sized bed, but shorter. And my boyfriend is 6'3". I'm small, so I mean, I sleep great. He kind of has to crumple up a little bit, but yeah, it's nothing nice. There's no bathroom. There's no water. It's literally a bed, and then we took out the two middle seats, so there's like a little quote unquote living room.
That's the best. What's the best place what's the best place you've been in the van? And what are some of the surprising things you found as you drive around aimlessly in this country of ours? Oh, this is one of my favorite questions to ask anybody ever. In fact, conversations about this very topic might be the reason I'm interested in talking to strangers as much as I am. I can't wait. We'll be right back. I don't know about you, but I like keeping my money where I can see it. Unfortunately, traditional big wireless carriers also seem to like keeping my money too. After years of overpaying for wireless, I'm so happy to tell you that you can get away from these crazy high wireless bills, bogus fees, all these free perks that actually cost you more in the long run. Switch to Mint Mobile. I think this is revolutionary. The idea that we get these phone bills that vary so wildly month to month is absolutely wild. It's nuts. It's insulting. And I'm glad Mint is doing something about it. Say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. If you like your money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/beautiful. That's mintmobile.com/beautiful. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5GB plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Quince. Elevating your style no longer means breaking the bank. I got to tell you, last week, the CEO of the nonprofit I've been working for was in New York and asked me to come meet up. I said, I need to look good. I need to feel good. I'm throwing on one of my sweaters from Quince, which I did, and I felt good all night. Quince has high-end, versatile pieces at prices I can actually afford. Now I can upgrade my style by snagging killer luxury essentials that sync with my vibe and wallet. Quince has all the must-haves like Mongolian cashmere crewneck sweaters from $50, iconic 100% leather jackets, and versatile flow knit activewear. The best part, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost in the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. I love that. If you need to have a few items in your closet that you go, when I just want to know that I look good, know that I feel good, not necessarily dressed to impress, but just know that I'm bringing it. Quince has so many things that fit that exact slot in your life. And my 2 sweaters from Quince, I wear them all the time. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/beautiful for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/beautiful to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/beautiful. Thanks to everybody who sponsors the show. Now, let's finish off the phone call. What's the best place what's the best place you've been in the van? And what are some of the surprising things you've found as you drive around aimlessly in this country of ours?
So the best, I think the one that was most surprising was somewhere in Nevada. We were just cruising on the main highway and saw a dirt road, and we're like, let's see where this goes. So we took it, and it opened up into this beautiful lake. And it was like this little cove area, and we just parked our van on the beach and hung out at the lake for the whole day. We tried to sleep, but it was Nevada in the summertime, and it was like inside the van, probably 110 degrees. So it didn't get super glamorous that night, but during the day, it was awesome. It's also really cool to camp in Huntington and just open up doors and like cook breakfast on the beach. That's rad.
Huntington in California?
In California. Yeah.
Just drive the van out there. So do you consider yourself a hippie?
Yeah, I mean, people would probably use that word for me. Yeah. It's funny because of where I'm from. So it's like, to some people, I know it doesn't sound like it, but to some people, I might be somewhat of a redneck. But then to the rednecks, I'm a total hippie.
So you are a true mix of redneck and Californian.
Yeah, but I've got my mom is from California, but I'm not.
So you got Texas roots.
Mm-hmm.
And you're back there now.
Yep. I don't want to give away too much, but I'm in the least Texas place in Texas.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I do think I would not be shocked, hippies are remembered for like psychedelics and music and outfits and flower children and all that, but I do think it is important to remember that they started as a countercultural movement that was a rejection of many actions by the government and cultural norms. And I would not be surprised right now if there are other people around your age that are starting to participate in lifestyle choices that make people go like, wait, are you a redneck or a hippie? Because I wouldn't be shocked if there's some people going, I need to just not participate in the system for a while.
Yeah, no, that's fair. We're the people with like giant compost piles and chickens in the backyard, but all for the purpose of eating our own food supply.
You do? You grow your own food?
Well, I just moved, and the house I moved to has a garden bed. So obviously the first thing I did was rip everything out so I could prepare for some spring veggies to go in.
So you got the van. You're learning how to cultivate food. You don't love medicine. You're into medicine, but you are becoming more Yeah, you're very modern. A very modern American, a very modern take on this mix of cultures. Is there ever any discussion of like, hey, if shit really falls apart, we can take to the van and we know how to grow food so we can live off the land if we have to?
Oh, absolutely. My whole family right now, we joke about it, but we're like looking for land to build our compound on.
We're all headed towards something really weird and really strange. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's very easy to panic right now, but I'm like, oh, it's going to take on forms we don't even know. Because you're very clearly a very smart young person, passionate, kind, looking for ways to enjoy life. And also you can't trust medicine or loans, and you got to be ready to live off the grid. And it's a joke now, but it's not really a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke, but probably one day it will come in handy.
We're all kind of assuming that Mad Max will be within our lifetimes. We're all starting to just kind of assume that Mad Max is going to actually happen before we die.
Yeah, I think we are all on that page.
Damn. It was a hell of a run.
Yeah, definitely.
We have about 17 minutes left, and it's been a joy to just shoot the breeze with you. Yeah.
That went by so fast. I've always in my head had like all these things that I would talk about, and I don't feel like we've even talked about really any of them except for the original story.
Let's hit a couple. What else do we got to bring up?
One thing I wanted to talk about that I think, is talked about but can never be talked about too much is drinking and driving and the effects that has on way more people than you would imagine. I feel like where I live and kind of the age that I am at, unfortunately, like still so many people participate in it. However, I had to learn kind of the hard way the downfalls of that, because about 3 years ago, my boyfriend almost passed away in a horrible drinking and driving accident. It was him and his best friend. And his best friend was like in a coma for 3 months. The doctors all had us prepared to lose him. They were both in the ICU. It was horrible. One of the worst things I've, had to go through with my adult life yet. And I just feel like kids still don't get it. And that baffles me.
Who was the party that was drinking in that accident, if I may ask?
It was my boyfriend and his friend. His friend was the driver. Ironically, the accident wasn't caused by either of them. It was caused by the other vehicle. But they were speeding well over what they should have been. So if they had been going the speed limit, they probably both would have been all right. But yeah, it wasn't a great outcome.
That's brutal. You must have been so mad. I mean, heartbroken and sad and also mad.
Yeah, it was all the above. It was terrifying. I mean, they went missing because they were both beat up so badly that when getting checked into the hospital, they gave them just like a fake name, basically, which I didn't even know that was a thing. So the whole next day was like us calling all of the hospitals, all of the jails, just trying to figure out where they may have ended up. And I had to make the awful phone call of asking my mom to call the morgue, which thank fucking God, there was no report of them there. And we did end up finding them. They were both in horrible condition. But it's just crazy because you would think that would impact kind of our friend group more than it did. Because these idiots are still out here participating and drinking and not always finding the safest ride home. And it makes me so, so angry.
Where do you think it comes from with young people? Because we're also there's also a generation of people that have grown up with Uber at this point, where it couldn't be,
I know,
compared to how it used to be, it couldn't be easier to find alternate ways home. So is it hubris? Is it not caring? Where does it come from?
I genuinely wish I had the answer for that because I don't know. I think sadly everybody kind of has the mindset of it could never be me. But unfortunately, like, if we all have that mindset, it's going to be one of us. Like, we're not all bulletproof or car wreck proof in this case.
Yeah.
But I feel like it stems from that mindset. I'm not too sure.
When your boyfriend was safe, I'm sure you showered him with love, and then at some point, I'm sure you also had a conversation that was like, "Are you ready to commit to this never happening again?"
Yeah, I mean, that conversation is a conversation we probably had multiple times. I mean, coming out of it, he's a professional athlete for his career.
Whoa. And
coming out of that accident, he's a BMX rider, and he wasn't able to participate for a while because he was injured so badly, which led to, depression and things like that, which led to further drinking. So, I mean, this was a conversation that we did unfortunately have a few times. But it's been almost 3 years, and it's been really cool to watch him turn his life around. I wish I could say the same for the friend in the accident. I can't, however. But some people, I don't think, ever figure it out.
That's a bummer. It's very sad.
But that's addiction.
I also, too, have to imagine, being that I've lived a lifestyle where a lot of people are prone to addiction, I have to imagine people in the world of what you might call extreme sports. I have to imagine that there's a lot of adrenaline junkies who party after doing death-defying things. There's people on painkillers. I would have to imagine that that's also a lifestyle where it's pretty easy to fall down that road, I would think.
100%. They do kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, if you spend your whole life participating in an activity where you can break bones and blow out your joints and get head injuries, I have to imagine at some point pills start getting passed around. You start drinking more than you realize or intend to numb the pain. That's brutal. It's brutal.
It is. It is brutal. But there's a handful of them that are 100% sober and practicing healthy lifestyles. And those are kind of like the models of the group in my head.
Now, we got into it and you revealed his profession in the course of something that I'm glad you brought up that's really serious. I don't want to gloss past it. You're right. Like, to have someone you love, let alone multiple people you love, almost die because of that is horrifying. That being said, I'm like, we got a dog kennel owner and a professional BMX rider who also like to jump in a van with a bed in the back and go down random dirt roads and sleep by lakes. Are you America's coolest, hottest couple, or what? What are you talking about? You sound like the coolest, hottest couple.
That's the best compliment ever. I should also say that I roller skate. So throw a pair of yellow roller skates in there too, and that's us pretty much.
I didn't think it could get cooler, and now it just got cooler. Because you're describing a cool-ass couple. And it's not like BMX biters are known for being fugly. BMX bikers are known for being hotties. So that's why I added in cool and hot.
He is a hottie. But it's just really funny to me because I'm honestly like a huge nerd. My head's in a book 24/7. I'm always like doing weird things. I'm extremely goofy and uncoordinated. Like, I would never describe myself as a cool person. So it's kind of funny hearing it from you.
That's just piecing together, just connecting the small handful of dots that you've laid out to me. I'm like, all right, pro BMX riding, kennel founding, backyard farming, van riding, cool cats. This is who we're talking about right now.
Thanks.
That's some dork who did
so
improv
funny.
classes his whole 20s.
Okay, you're leaving out the fact that underneath it all, I'm genuinely a very big dork as well.
Yeah, have you ever taken an improv class?
classes.
Then don't talk to me about being a dork.
Not since middle school. I did eat that shit up in middle school, though. So
well, glad to hear it.
The proof is in the pudding.
Glad to hear it. I'm glad he's okay. That could have changed. I mean, I'm sure it did change your whole lives, but it could have changed it even more remarkably. Could have been something you never recovered from and he never recovered from.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess you find out you really love someone when they're pissing in a cup in your bed and you're walking it to the bathroom for them.
Yeah, when you put it like that, that's no joke. That's no joke. And, also on the other side of things too, like I'm sure moments for him where, you said, and I'm not asking you to air out his business, but you said like, no, yeah, he did make some life adjustments. He did change his ways. There you go. Yeah. When you're pissing in a cup and asking someone else to dump it in the toilet, I'm sure you feel that love. And I also am sure that if anything's going to motivate you to make better choices next time, it's got to be those moments.
Yeah, definitely. And he hasn't always made the best choices, but they have been getting much better over the last couple of years. So
yeah. And
shitty situation, but a good outcome.
Nobody nails it 100% of the time, but I'm glad to hear that you feel like that growth is happening because that's part of trust and that's part of partnership.
Yeah, and I'm glad to also be saying it out loud.
How many dogs do you own? I believe you mentioned before that you had at least a couple.
Only 2, so nothing outrageous.
Do the dogs come in the van with you when you guys go camping?
Of course they do. Yes.
Man.
They love it just as much as we do, honestly. Probably even a little more.
Am I going to have to take vacation?
What are your feelings on that?
I'm just sitting here like, am I really about to have to take vacations with a dog? Is this really... I've avoided this my whole life. And I know it's coming.
Okay, but a dog on a beach, really cute. At the lake, muddy paws, when you get in bed at night and it's all crummy and dirty from the dog, it's amazing.
Wait, the bed is crummy and dirty because your muddy dog went in it, and that's a good thing for you?
I'm kidding. I'm being slightly facetious
Oh,
here.
you were trying to get me worked up and succeeded instantly to the point that I didn't realize it was a bit.
Yeah, my sarcasm can come off a little too real sometimes.
I'm just honestly so... I'll let the dog thing go. The dog's cute. The dog's fine. I did recently have a beautiful anonymous fan send me a message on Facebook to inform me that I mispronounced the name of my own dog, which I thought was really hilarious. To be fair, he was letting me know about the indigenous pronunciation, so I get the point. But I also was like, I don't know, my 5-year-old named the dog, and I just say what the 5-year-old said. I get it.
Well, I mean, at least he did let you know the proper way to say it.
And I'm hamming it up. The message was actually, I took it as very playful.
Good.
Anyway.
Well, how are we looking?
We got 4 minutes left. And I'm feeling good
4 is
about
my
that.
favorite number.
That means you're about to reveal a bombshell that's going to change the course of this show forever.
God, I wish I could come up with something in 4 minutes to change the course of the show forever. How wild would that be?
The course of my life, the course of everything. Everything will be different after whatever you say next.
Well, sorry, listeners. I don't think I have a bombshell that big. Maybe I'll have to reveal it in the 5 questions after this.
Thank you for the plug.
Listen, your listeners have got you.
Well, it's really fun back there. And some people don't have the cash, that's okay. But if you got it, it's worth it. We do a good job.
Yeah.
We do a good job.
I think, let's see, takeaways. Stop drinking and driving.
Yeah.
That's old news. Let's get rid of that. Drop all of your crazy, wild, fun stories of your brush with the cops in the comments, and let's get that going.
A cop pointed a gun at my head once from like 6 inches away.
What?
Yeah.
See, now you're dropping a bomb.
I don't think I've ever mentioned that on the show before either. That's crazy.
I've listened to almost every single episode. I can't claim that I've listened to every single one. My apologies.
I was in New York.
I don't think I've heard that one.
It was crazy. I was in New York. This was years ago, and I was at a party at a theater that I performed at, and me and my friends were going to drive back to Jersey together because I was still in college. We came out of the theater, and I saw somebody kind of book it down the block in New York, and I was like, there's somebody shady hanging out on this block. And they were near where my car was. And then I went and got in the car with my other friend, and we were waiting for our third friend to come join us. And a police car came the wrong way up 22nd Street. And I was like, that's really weird. And it was the summer, had my window open, and the next thing I heard was just, don't move. And I just I could just instinctively feel, there's a gun. And I realized it was the cops. It turned out what happened was that shady guy had actually been breaking into my car. We later found where he had popped the trunk. And it was this kind of insane timing where some neighbor on that block looked out their window, saw the guy breaking into my car, called the cops. And then in between when the cops were called and when they got there, we came out. The guy ran away and got into the car that the person had given them the license plate for. So the cops were actually doing their job, but the gun held, a foot from my 21-year-old ear was maybe a bit excessive.
Oh no, wrong place, wrong time for you for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was the first time, but not the last time, that I had a gun pointed at me. Every once in a while, I reveal some things on this show. Yeah, I was also once held by a maniac with a shotgun. That was a whole other story for a whole other day.
Yeah, we'll need more time for that one.
Yeah, that one was bad. That one was scarier, actually. It was bad. It was in an abandoned house. Okay, I won't say anything else.
You're leaving a trail of crumbs for another time.
You're feeling good about these life changes. New place, new job, new direction.
Yeah, I feel great.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, all is well. And I knew that I would get on this show when my life kind of came to that point. And it's crazy that it actually happened. So I'm stoked.
That's a beautiful thing. There's the California in you saying you're stoked.
Hey, I don't claim California as any part of in me.
But
Just
you
a place I
dropping
love to
dropping
visit.
stoked is why the rednecks think you're a hippie.
Yeah. I'm covering up my Texas accent for this podcast, so that's not coming out. It only really comes out these days if I'm drinking.
Well, I have to thank you so much for the call. This has been the free
thank
feed
you.
portion of the show. For anybody subscribed at beautifulanonymous.com, we'll get a few more minutes with this very fun caller.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Caller, thank you so much. That call went in so many different directions, but I am struck at your ability to have an easy conversation, to go in any direction. It was a joy to talk to you. And I mean that very sincerely. Thanks so much. And thanks to our producer, Andrea Quinn, the high priestess of Beautiful Anonymous. Thank you to Shellshag for our theme music. punchup.live/Chris Gethard if you want to know more about me, including where I'm going to be and when. Also, the ticket sales for my new variety show have been unbelievable. The LA show looks like it's about to sell out. Thank you, everybody, for that. There's another New York show with tickets available right now. It's very cool to feel love on this one. We have a voicemail line. It's 973-306-4676. We have an Instagram. It's Beautiful Anonymous Pod. We're also on TikTok. We have a Facebook group where people discuss the episodes. Join all the things, everybody. This week on Beautiful Anonymous Plus, here's some of what you'll get from the 5 questions. Who was your first crush and why?
Ooh, my first crush. This is kind of in poor taste these days, but I think it was Ellen DeGeneres. I don't know why. I just really liked her as a child.
There have been a couple times in the course of this show where someone has just said a perfect soundbite, and you're now in that hallowed number. That's such a funny answer. That's so good.
Thanks. I wasn't sure how that one would go over.
That is so funny and so unexpected.
Yeah. I wrote her one time.
Oh, I need to hear about that. I do need to let you know. Andrea is suggesting that we retire that question because we're not getting a better answer. That is the high priestess's reaction. Congratulations. What do you mean you wrote Ellen? Don't forget to sign up for Beautiful Anonymous Plus at beautifulanonymous.com.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes per details.